Hello, Facets. I'm Bill Van Ryn from Fanzine Drive-In Asylum, and I'm here to talk to you for a few minutes about Demons, a movie that dares ask the question.
What the hell happened to Rosemary?
Let's take a look at this movie's ad campaign from when it played the United States. People magazine called it one of the best horror movies of 1986, but Fangoria called it one of the best of the last decade, and I have to agree. There isn't much in the way of emotional impact, and the characters are all completely flat, but it's a very creepy experience with that weird nightmare logic that Italian filmmakers are so brilliant at capturing. The term batshit crazy tends to be a little overused, but I think in this case we can make an exception. This movie is nuts. It's a bizarre remix of American movies like The Evil Dead, The Exorcist, and Dawn of the Dead. But I have to say, it does have its own interesting meta concept where monsters come out of a movie screen in a theater to attack the audience. Could it happen there at Facets? Well, no, it can't. But when the lights go down, how can you be totally sure? One of the things that makes this movie so scary is that you never know what's going to happen next. Anybody in the cast can become a monster, and most of them do, usually in a hyper gory manner. Much like Dawn of the Dead, Demons was released uncut and unrated to theaters in the United States, but releasing Dawn that way was seen as a risk at the time because a lot of theaters wouldn't book an unrated movie. By the time Demons came along, gore was a hot commodity, and you can see these ads are proud of the fact that no one under 17 would be admitted. Those of us who were under 17 at the time Demons was released to theaters got to watch this on VHS. The place where I rented movies didn't even care how old you were. I was lucky. We want to thank you very much for coming out to Facets tonight on this chilly evening to watch two fantastic films. And the answer to that question we asked earlier, what the hell happened to Rosemary? Well, she's in the ladies' room freaking out. She'll be right with you. Enjoy Demons. We've come to the second part of our evening here at Facets to a movie that is surely going to give you a demonic case of deja vu. Arriving just a year after the original film, Demons 2 proves that if it ain't broke, you don't try and fix it. Even though the original film got a successful theatrical run in the US, it may come as a surprise to some of you that Demons 2 even played theatrically before it debuted on VHS, but it did, mainly in the southeast part of the country. A large part of the original crew was reassembled to make Demons 2, as well as a few of the actors, most notably Bobby Rhodes, who played the macho pimp from the first movie. He's in this one playing a different character who happens to look, speak, and act in exactly the same way. The main innovation that this sequel brings to the Demons brand is that this time the demons enter the real world via a television instead of a movie screen, which makes sense because horror movies are becoming more and more accessible on home video. This time you got to experience the meta element right there in your own living room. There's also a definite shadow of Cronenberg's They Came From Within here, as the demonic infection in the film is confined to a high-rise apartment building. The gore factor is a little smaller in this movie, but just like the original, once it starts to accelerate, it never lets up until the ending. I'd also argue that Demons 2 contains one of the scariest sequences in either film, in which a young Asia Argento is trapped in a car and surrounded by snarling monsters that peer in at her through the windows. It's absolutely nightmarish. We want to thank you once again for coming out to Facets tonight. We hope you're having a great time. If you like these newsprint ads that I've been showing you, you should check out my Facebook page, Groovy Doom, or you can pick up a copy of my fanzine, Drive-In Asylum. But for now, sit back in the dark and be prepared to be transported once again into the realm of the demons.